Hello, welcome back to another video on astrology. In this video, I'll be talking to you about the various systems in astrology, or in other words, the various confusions in astrology that actually a beginner in astrology is confronted with. With regard to experts, there is no confusion because they are very well settled. They are very clear about what they're doing. It is because they have used it so many years and they are very pretty sure that whatever they're using is correct. So every astrologer out there is going to tell you that whatever system he uses or he or she uses is the best one and the correct one. And whatever Ayanamsha they are following, they'll say that their Ayanamsha is the correct one. And then you also have those who use tropical system, which is the Western system, what they call the Sayana. Many astrologers, even in India, they use it, which means that they are not going to consider the Ayanamsha. For them, Ayanamsha does not exist. And they will go to any extent, to say that whatever system they are following is correct. Whereas when it comes to India, we have another set of confusion waiting the beginner in astrology. They have something called the Ayanamsha. And Ayanamsha is something that is detected, reduced, subtracted from whatever is called the tropical system. So according to the tropical system, let's say the sun is at 25 degrees in Indian system, which is the Nirayana system. You will not find it in 25 degrees of, let's say, Aries. You will actually find it 25 minus 23 or 24 because currently the Ayanamsha that is very popular in India is Lahiri Ayanamsha, and Lahiri Ayanamsha is 24 degrees as of now. When a beginner sees all these things, how does he understand all this? He says, I don't know what is all this about, but I'm so interested in learning astrology. And then he, let's say, starts using a software like, say, Jagannatha Hora. And in Jagannatha Hora, if you click on this button where you want to select the Ayanamsha, there is a drop down and you find 1, 2, 3, 4, a lot of options. You have the popular Raman Ayanamsha, which is 2 degrees away, and you have Lahiri Ayanamsha, then you have, Fagan, so many other systems like Krishnamurti Ayanamsha. So I think as of now there are about 40 plus, some say it is around 45, and each Ayanamsha, when you select them, you will find that the planets are not in the same point. But one thing very interesting to notice that when you change the Ayanamsha, all the planets shift at one time, even including the Lagna. So with regard to the Lagna degree, and if you use equal system in Baba calculation, you will find very strangely that no matter what system you use, either you use tropical or the Nirayana system, which is the Indian system, you will find that there is no difference at all, because with regard to the exact Lagna point, if you use equal system, let's say sun is in the 7th house, in the tropical system, even in Nirayana, you will find it is in the 7th. You change the Ayanamsha, you will still have it in the 7th. So there's no difference. But what will actually change is the entire sign itself will change. So that is the confusion. And if this is not enough, then people, in India we have so many other systems. We have Jaimini Sutras, we have Maharshi Parashara's Brihat Parashara Varashastra, Parashari Astrology, and then we have classical textbooks like Uttara and Faladipika, Jataka Parijata, many different kinds of approaches there in the field of astrology. And so a beginner will definitely get confused. And to add to the confusion, we had another great astrologer from Chennai, Professor K.S. Krishnamurti, who came up with a new set of ideas about sublord, and he had a different kind of course, he used Krishnamurti Ayanamsha, his own Ayanamsha, but he resorted to a different kind of Baba calculations, which is not common in India, though it is common in the Western world, which is called the Placidus system, where if you have the Lagna here, and if a planet is just about, even by 1 degree, it will jump to the other house, and if it is 1 degree minus, it will go to another house. It will go to the previous house. So you will see, even in the Baba calculations, the way the houses are delineated, even in that, Krishnamurti is totally different from other systems that Indians use. So, which one to start with? Where do you start? So, because there is so much confusion in this, there is no way a beginner can sort out the issues, and so he will have to settle down with something, and that we always say it is better to stick to Nirayana, because at least most of the people in India are using Nirayana, so there will be more consistency. It is important that we get started somewhere. And with regard to the various other systems, it is better to stick to Maharishi Parashara's ideas about astrology and not keep changing your stances. Now, one of the reasons for all these new ideas coming about is because the existing textbooks were not enough, or beginners found that they were insufficient in answering many questions. So they had to look for answers elsewhere. Maybe it's not there in this system. Maybe I need to find it in another system. So it is somewhat equivalent to, let's say, the number of the various types of alcoholic drinks that is available in the world. Right now, I think there are about 3,000 types. But if you look very closely, they are all just containing alcohol. But why so many brands came about is because each one consuming the alcohol thought that they are not getting the maximum pleasure out of it, and they're not getting the maximum happiness out of it. So they started looking elsewhere. Maybe that bottle is going to give them that what they found missing here. They failed to understand that happiness, with alcohol you can't get complete happiness. So because there is something missing in it, they try new brands. So also in astrology, what astrologers and beginners in astrology are confused about is that every little detail about a person's life must be available in the horoscope, and the horoscope should say exactly what's going to happen. And if it does not answer, if it does not cater to that, they feel that the system is inappropriate and there's a lot of error in this, so they look elsewhere. So this is the main reason why so many systems have come about. So the idea is, okay, Parashari astrology is not able to answer, for example, a question like when will the gas cylinder come home, or whether what time the flight will take off, because the flight has been delayed. So Maharishi Parashara has not given us any clues about how to find the answer to such questions. So then Krishnamurti Paddhati says, yes, we have a method to tell this. So this is about sublord and sub-sublord, and now they made it to sub, any number of subdivisions. So somehow you should be able to tell exactly when the flight will take off. And so the reason for coming up with all these different kinds of system is because we are not satisfied with what we have, and we feel that astrologers should become like gods, and they should know exactly what's going to happen every minute of your life. And so that's the main reason why people look and keep looking at newer systems. But is there a scope for any invention in astrology? This is a question that many of my students have asked me. Why can't we invent? Can't we really do any inventions like in other fields of knowledge? You find there are a lot of inventions happening. So it's not the same as how it was 100 years before. It's improving. So why can't that happen to astrology? Why can't we just forget Parashari astrology or Jaimini astrology and create our own astrology, create new ideas? Here is a very important point, that the Maharshis obtained this knowledge from some divine connections which were possible in ancient times. In modern times, these are not possible. And so with regard to astrology and basic philosophy, or let's say even religion or spirituality, it is better to stick to the conventional, to the ancient. With regard to other things around us like scientific inventions and equipments and all that, the latest is the best. If you want consistency in astrology, you'll have to stick to one system and stay in it for a lifetime, because from that point of view you will be able to say many things. And above all, the most important thing is finally with whatever information you obtain from the horoscope, how are you going to decide what's going to happen, and what prediction you're going to give to the client, to the persons whose horoscope you're reading. all that will finally be the most important thing than even the calculations. It is like you spend a lot of time discussing about how a guitar is made, what are the how are the strings, what is the length of the string, what is the thickness of the string, and how does one how do you make a guitar so perfectly. All that is a different one portion of the guitar. The other side is I don't know anything about all these things, how the guitar is made. I don't know the science behind guitar, but give me the guitar and I'll play it. So this is another aspect. So if you look at the best the guitarists of the world, they might not even know how it is made. Some people drive the cars very well without knowing how the car functions. So you can actually get into astrology without knowing all the big problems about getting into the big problems of Ayanamsha, Nirayana, Sayana, what are all these various problems that astrology problems that exist in astrology need not be a concern. You can just stay with one system and then keep looking at it long enough, and you should be able to see some good, the truth behind it. So in conclusion, I would say that astrology has limitations. Not everything is predictable. You can't go to the extent of saying that you will meet your lover in a coffee shop on a Thursday at 11 a.m. Something like that. So these things are not part of the mainstream astrology, like what the serious forms of astrology, like horoscope is actually showing karma. It is more serious than all these trivial things, and so just understand the limitations of astrology and be content with what the ancient astrology books have given us. This is my suggestion. Of course, this is debatable, I know that. That's all for now, and I'm sure you have lots of questions to ask. Whatever questions you have in mind, please type them out in the comment section. And based on the questions, I hope to do more of these kind of videos about the various systems. Maybe if you are interested to know more about Ayanamsha, I can do a separate video on Ayanamsha. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section. And whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.